Okay, it's August, and Mitt Romney has just announced that his vice president pick is going to be Paul Ryan, representative of Wisconsin, and chairman of the Budget Committee. And this is unbelievable. It's a stupid appointment in my view. But let me go over why that's a stupid pick. Paul Ryan, probably one of the worst, but. Paul Ryan was in Congress during the entire Bush administration. All the awful things that went on in the Republican Congress and the Republican president and Dick Cheney, orchestrating everything from behind the scenes, the Iraq War, the exploding deficits, the idiotic tax cuts to the wealthy and to others. So let's go over Paul Ryan's record this is starting in the Bush administration. So think back. Okay, so a crucial vote at the beginning of the Bush administration was the vote on whether to authorize force in Iraq. What does Paul Ryan do as a good Republican? He votes with all the other sheep in the Republican Party, and he votes for the Iraq War, which was unfunded. Unlimited commitment. It ended up costing us $1 trillion. Okay, it was never budgeted for. It was always off budget. Okay, so that's idiotic vote number one for Paul Ryan. Then Paul Ryan. This is sort of the trifecta, I call it. The other idiotic vote. And I could call it irresponsible. Maybe not idiotic, but at least irresponsible vote. Is Paul Ryan. The Republicans were pushing the expansion of Medicare Part D, but they just didn't want to pay for it. And there was a vote on the expansion of Medicare Part D, which is an expansion of government, right? And Paul Ryan, like all the other good Republicans under George Bush, he votes for the expansion of Medicare Part D, which was, of course, not paid for. That blows another hole in the debt. And then the third part of the trifecta, of course, is the two unpaid for, unaffordable, idiotic tax cuts, which didn't help the economy. So this is Paul Ryan. This is Paul Ryan under the George Bush administration. Oh, and to top it all up, to add one more to the trifecta, which of idiocy, let's say, of Paul Ryan, is Paul Ryan, Tea Party favorite. In 2008, Paul Ryan votes for the TARP. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And the right wing just eats him up. He loves Paul Ryan. Even though all of these things are expansion of the government and unaffordable, terribly fiscally irresponsible. And now Paul Ryan is sitting atop the House Budget Committee after all these stupid votes which increased the deficit. All of them. The Iraq War, the expansion of Medicare Part D, the TARP, the unaffordable Bush tax cuts, all that just blew the deficit wide open. Okay, all that stuff occurred under all those awful things occurred under George W. Bush with the great help of Paul Ryan voting just the way he should. But let's go to today's Paul Ryan. Now, today, Paul Ryan is the budget guru of the Republican Party. After years of deficit spending, the Republican Party decides it better get serious about deficits. And so they pick Paul Ryan. They pick Paul Ryan as their budget guru, budget chairman. After his making all these horrible votes, which just totally blew the budget to smithereens. Okay, so his plan now is just equally as stupid. His plan is, get rid of most domestic spending. Just get rid of it. Let's see, that would be Medicare. Let's get rid of Medicare. Cut Social Security, privatize it, get rid of Medicare, cut Medicaid, keep the Bush tax cuts. Keep the Bush tax cuts, and keep the tax cuts for the exceedingly wealthy, like the billionaires who really need tax cuts. The billionaires, they need tax cuts. And the great thing about the Paul Ryan budget it doesn't balance the budget until in 21 years. So all this cutting, all this stuff, never you don't get to a balanced budget for 22 years. It might balance if we're lucky, if we cross our fingers and click our heels 3 times. Paul Ryan, oh my gosh.